What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me before I go in here and get this workout in. Not doing the steps right this second. I have to go in there and hit an arm day for some glory. Shout out to you guys, my subs. Thank you for joining along on the ride to 5,000. Slow motion, slow and steady, but steady nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving and the following days. You know, we're a couple days out. We didn't have some fun stuff happen. We didn't had Black Friday come, and it's not necessarily great anymore. Make Black Friday great again. But let's get into this topic at hand, man. Cam Newton, you know, former NFL quarterback. You know, it's a brother that I like a lot. I think he's a very entertaining guy. He's got a podcast that seems to be doing okay right now. You know, he's had a few viral moments, and this moment here, I don't know if dude was trolling, being for real, you know, intentionally trying to go viral again or what. But he had another sister on, another with the title of doctor. Dr. Sarah was her name, and I'm not familiar with her, but I wasn't familiar with the other one before either. Dr. Bryant, you know, apparently she kind of been around doing this and that. The type of stuff that she be involved in is not really stuff that I follow. You know, I don't really be watching the, you know, reality show stuff and that sort of, you know, low bar television, just to put it mildly. It's not really the type of stuff I'm really into, so I really wasn't familiar with her before going on Cam's show. But this sister here, I don't know what she's been up to either. I don't really know much about her, but I like some of the things that she was saying. The things that she was saying, they just seemed a lot more grounded in reality than the stuff that Cam was talking about. So let's get into that. You know, Cam Newton was talking about how you can make a 304 into a housewife. Now, we know that just ain't it. You know, we've heard over the years, it's an old saying, you can't turn a 304 into a housewife. You just can't. And anytime you have a guy who does try to do this, he suffers for it. So I don't know why he was saying this and trying to push it. And he was kind of jumping all over the place because he was talking about, you know, any woman that you've been with has been with somebody before and has been a 304 for them. And that's not what turning a 304 into a housewife means. It means a chick that's out here just going ahead and just letting some of everybody hit. It's not about being with one person. If you're a woman that's been with one guy for the last 5 years and you done did all types of stuff for him, you know, you may have been being a 304 for him, but you were with one guy. So that's not the same. Being with one guy and kind of being sexually liberated or liberal with that one guy is not the same as some other chick that over the last 5 years, she just been letting whoever smash, like whatever dude got enough game to come, you know, like bust it open, you know. So I don't know why he was acting like he didn't get that. You know, he was just kind of like flip-flopping a bit or whatever. It was kind of strange. And that's why I was wondering, this is a guy that it's hard to believe he don't know the game. You know, this is a guy that's had plenty of women at his disposal, still does, and it's impossible for him not to know the game. Like, really, how does he not know the game? It just does not seem possible. So for him to be saying the stuff that he was saying, it just really seemed kind of forced, like he was just trying to have another viral moment. He had Dr. Bryant on there. You know, he had a few viral clips out of that, and now he's got another sister on here with the title of doctor. And so it just kind of seemed like he was trying to recreate what he did there. And it wasn't working because he was just kind of sounding a bit absurd. I mean, don't get me wrong. With Dr. Bryant, he was saying some absurd stuff then too. But it wasn't quite like now. But, you know, the Dr. Sarah, the stuff that she was saying, I really can't disagree with her, because she was just kind of saying common sense male point of origin stuff, which isn't all that common when dealing with women. Women don't always, unless the woman has been red pilled, kind of, and it's kind of weird because I don't really believe that you can red pill women, but there are some women that are astute enough and observant enough to hear some of the things that men say that they don't like when it comes to dealing with women, and be like, that makes sense. I can see that. And so she seemed like she fit more into that echelon. She was saying that she disagreed with, his claim that you can turn a 304 into a housewife. And she was also speaking about, the difference between women who go out there just doing whatever with whoever versus a woman who's just kind of been sexually free with one guy. And, again, I really would have expected this to be the opposite. I really would have expected it to be the woman saying, oh, women can change, and just because she was a 304 before doesn't mean that she can't repent or whatever and go on to be married and, live a happy life or be content being a wife. I would expect her to be saying that, and Cam to be like, nah, you can't do that because it just doesn't work. It's a woman that she's been out there, been promiscuous. She's been hopping from this cock to that cock to that cock to the next cock and a few more cocks by the end of the week. That sort of woman, it's just not going to be possible for her to settle down, because that sort of life is going to be tame for her by comparison. I would have expected the opposites. Like their talking points, I was kind of shocked that they were coming from the person that they were coming from. It was like Twilight Zone almost. So I really don't know, man. But listen, in the history of never has, for those of you that don't know, I think many of you who watch my channel do know, but I mean, there may be some people who truly need some guidance. In the history of never has a guy, for the most part, been able to take a woman that has been in the streets, for the streets, and turn her into an honest woman. Now, nothing's 100%. Sure, there are probably some unicorn examples out there where this did happen. The woman got tired of being out there for the streets. The streets was just too mean, too cruel, and she's done the work to heal and move past it, and that boring, tame life of being somebody's wife, of raising his children, of making him lunches, like she wants that. She genuinely craves that. That sort of life is for her. Sure, are there situations like that where that has probably happened? Yes, absolutely. But more often than not, that's not the case. If it's a woman that's been out there promiscuous like that, she's never going to settle down because she doesn't want to settle down. Settling down is something that she's had plenty of opportunities to do and chose not to. Because more often than not, if you talk to them, well, are you married? Have you been married? No, but I've been engaged. More often than not, before they aged out of their 304 days, they had guys that wanted to make an honest woman out of them. They had guys that were willing to put a ring on it, and they rejected this because they didn't want to be under a man's leadership, guidance, and overall headship. They did not want to answer to a man. They wanted to be independent. And oftentimes men, not all men, but a man that's trying to make an honest woman out of you, he is trying to protect you and shield you from these harsh things that you would otherwise experience moving on your own. A woman that's been with a husband, a good man that, is going to protect her and do right by her, he is going to shield her from all sorts of things. Just simply her being with this man, she is going to be shielded from all types of terrible, traumatic experiences. So that whole women being independent, going alone, no one has seen more trauma and hardship than a woman who wants to be independent. It just is what it is. We don't make the rules. We just learn them and play by them. It is seldom that there is a woman who wants to move independent and be from under the leadership and guidance of a man, that she ends up being better for it. You know, if you look at some of these women that were out there in the streets or whatever, they look rough, okay? They oftentimes look older than what they really are. They've experienced some terrible things. Some of them have been victims of abuse. Some of them have been victims of some sort of SA. You know, like, these are things that they just otherwise wouldn't have had to go through had they opted to just simply pick a man and be with him. And I'm not saying just pick any man. I'm talking about, you know, when you had those really high quality dudes that was trying to make an honest woman out of you, you'd have settled down with any one of them. Because they usually did had a few. If you're a fairly attractive woman, you'd have had a few that was trying to, you know, lock you down. Didn't want it. Wanted to still be for the streets. Because they seem to think that they can go out here, do whatever they want, give up their body to whoever they want, and then when they become worn down and Tyrone and Chad aren't checking for them, the phone is not ringing as much, now that perfect guy is going to materialize and make an honest woman out of them. But at that point, it's too late. You're too damaged to be a good woman for him. You know, he can still possibly be a good man for you, but you no longer are able to be a good woman for him. You're too damaged from the experiences that you went through that usually are not good. There's nothing in the streets for a woman except trauma. And this is why I still, to this day, even though marriage is not a popular thing anymore, you got all the red pill guys talking about, oh, don't get married, don't get married. Oh, it's too risky to get married. I'm not saying that there's no risking involved in getting married, but I still do believe that marriage is a great thing. You just have to vet women, all right? And certain women you just stay away from. You don't really deal with. If it's one of these women that has a promiscuous past, you don't want to deal with them. You don't want to make one of them the mother of your kids. You know, you will suffer for it, you know, and she'll suffer for it too, to be quite honest, because in many cases they're too damaged to even really be a good mom. You know, they're not going to be as loving and caring and nurturing as they otherwise would have been had they not have went through those hardships, because those things change them to where they just are, it's not in them anymore. So let me know what you guys think, man, on this one. Cam Newton was saying some really kind of silly stuff about turning 304s into a housewife. And the reason why I think that's really silly is because here's a man with influence and a platform with a lot of visibility, and he's saying stuff that we for a fact know just ain't true. And I believe he knows too. I really think that this man was just trying to make another viral moment. The Sinead Bryant thing, you know, he got views and plenty of ad revenue from that. And, you know, so now you're thinking, how can I recreate that? How can I replicate that? But, you know, viral stuff tends to happen organically, not forced. People can kind of tell when you being fake. And for you to be a grown man out here that has as much experience with women as you do have, it just comes off fake and disingenuous. Nobody believes that you believe that that's really true. You can turn a 304 into a housewife. So I'm gonna leave it there, y'all. Let me get in here and go ahead and get this workout in. I'm gonna holler at y'all soon. Peace.